Hey, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Firstly, thanks for attending this meeting. You've got myself and Jen presenting to you today on a very important topic. Normally, Jen and I will be smiling a bit more, but after yesterday's events, not so. So quick intro to myself, Nigel Postings, one of the founding partners of bizcise, over 20 years experience in the channel, both at Microsoft and KPG and now bizcise. So very passionate and to talk about this topic, and hopefully you'll learn a lot from what we're going to present and talk to you today.
And hey folks, I'm Jen, and so similar to Nigel, I've been in the business quite a long time. I spent 18 years at Microsoft. I actually started in the partner business before moving on to more of the sales side, and then I spent some time with Google and with NetApp. And so, you know, what I've been doing for the last 30 years is leading partner and sales, and literally like running go-to-market organizations. So this is a subject that is definitely very, very near and dear to my heart, because I've been on the other side of this. So glad that you could join us today, and hopefully, you know, if you've got any questions later on, throw them in the chat and we'll do a Q&A at the end. So what we're going to cover today is really kind of 4 topics. You know, traditional partners, the market is changing. We're all talking about AI. So it's really understanding about what kind of data you've got access to, and why what we've had in the past isn't going to be enough for what we need in the future. And so that, again, that's really about the reshaping of the ecosystem. And a lot of that is driven by customer demand and the expectations that they have from their partners, and what does that transformation look like. So then it's really about, how do you understand your channel? How do you know what you have out there? What are their capabilities? What is their customer focus? And what capacity do they have to change and move into this new world? And so then it's really about, once you've got those insights, how do you turn that into something that's actionable, so that you can really figure out if you've got the right partner ecosystem for what you need, not only today, but also for tomorrow. So we're going to cover those 4 topics. And as I mentioned earlier, we'll do Q&A at the end.
Okay, thanks, Jen. So the title of this slide is what is the issue, what we think at the moment around AI, and everyone's hearing a lot about AI, that the channel is potentially the constraint as more and more customers get excited about AI. But Jen, you mentioned, you know, you're at NetApp and you've been with other large global vendors. What are some of the challenges have you had around channel on the side of the vendor?
I mean, you know, when I was running the sales organizations, partners were my best friend. Everything that we did, you know, especially at NetApp, we were 100% through the channel. And so the challenge that I had at NetApp was, I was building a new go-to-market organization. So we were trying to move down market and building out kind of that mid-market opportunity. And the challenge that we had is, we needed partners who wanted to go to market in that space and in that segment, and not just in the enterprise space. And then the other thing that we would really focus on is customer acquisition, which ultimately, when you want to grow a business, you've got to go find those new customers. You can land and then expand, but you really need to focus on acquisition, and that's hard. It's the hardest piece. And so I needed to understand who were the right partners that could help move that ball with me. And that was a real challenge. I mean, you know, again, I've worked at Microsoft, worked at Google and NetApp, and you'd think working for these big vendors that we'd have great data, but we actually didn't. And so we were really piecemealing data from all of these different sources, and just trying to figure out, if I want to go to market in the retail segment in Southern California, you know, who are the 3 partners that I can go work with? And we just didn't have that access to information. And so we were just kind of throwing spaghetti at the ball and just trying to figure out. And, you know, we didn't have time to do that. And so that really elongated the whole process of building that business. So, you know, and this isn't a new challenge. This challenge has been around for a long time, you know, hence why we're here today, to try and figure out how we solve that for folks like you on the call.
So getting real-time data to make those investment decisions around MDF, about who I should work with, and imagine in a channel model where there's multi-tiers as well, that was even more challenging. Can you talk to that?
Yeah, you know, I think that, you know, we're all very familiar with the channel ecosystem. If you think about the tiers of the top partners, you know, the global and the national SIs, you know, they are the partners that are, you know, the most vocal. They tend to get more attention. They tend to get more, you know, if you think about resources and MDF. But when we think about building out that middle layer, which is really, if you look at all the market data, that's where the growth is. You know, it's the partners in that layer that really need help. And, you know, you really need to understand how those partners are performing. And so having those signals is going to be really important. And I think the other thing is, as we mentioned earlier, you know, everybody's, you know, we read about it every day in terms of the opportunity, and we're probably all sick to death of hearing about AI, but it is an absolute reality that customers are expecting our partners to be AI ready. And so how do you figure out, you know, which of those partners are ready to kind of make that leap and kind of invest? And, you know, that's going to be really key in terms of, as we said here, like winning or losing, that's going to be all around adoption. And so we think about our, you know, we go to the next slide, Nigel. We've kind of mapped out our partners in kind of maturity. So, you know, if you think about your traditional partners all the way to the right, in terms of AI accelerators, that's where we really want to try and help you understand, where are your partners today? Where are your partners that are interested in AI, but honestly, they're still trying to figure it out, all the way through to partners that are already doing it, and then all the way through to partners that are actually going to lead. And so we look at, you know, this maturity in 4 different ways, and that's how we want to start helping you think about your existing partner ecosystem. Because apart from anything else, you've also got to figure out where your gaps are, and this will help you to, you know, to do that.
That's good, because I think, you know, we're having conversations today with vendors and providers that really want to, you know, take advantage of this AI momentum, and they need to understand where the channel is today. So, you know, we're talking to clients where we can look at the whole ecosystem and say, okay, these are your traditional channels, as you said, the AI accelerators. But underpinning that, to get to these 4 levels, you know, we're looking at 3 key data points. Number 1 is the capability of the partners, you know, looking at what they have in their digital presence. Who are they promoting? Are they promoting AI solutions? And with AI, we're seeing more and more they're multi-vendor solutions as well. It's not just one product or platform that's paving the way. So capability is core. Also around those partners, are they focused on different segments, different industries? That's something that the vendor needs to know today as they start to see customer intent data. And as part of these 3 C's, the second one is what we call customer intent data. So we're able to see and understand at each individual partner level, why are customers going to that partner? What are they searching for? Are they searching for an AI solution? Are they searching for Copilot, for any of the other platforms they have on AI? And finally, capacity. And we've used capacity a lot with past projects. Capacity is looking at the breach of each individual partner. You know, what's their addressable market, both within country and across countries. So whether you're looking at your existing partners today, or whether you feel you have gaps, and you then want to go out and recruit, looking at these 3 C's and overlaying that into this maturity model can tell you, okay, I'm going to have to partners today that are in AI practitioners or AI native AI accelerators. So I think it's a pretty good framework. It seems consistent when we talk to clients that this is a great way to establish a benchmark today. You know, where are they starting from, and what are the things they need to do? And then this is the dashboard, you know, we're sharing with clients.